All right, traders, it's time for another hot seat. Looks like things just flip on a dime sometimes. Let's find out on live trading. Guess what? Zunaid's back, team. Smash the like.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, let's get to the action. We got Ryan, we got Zunaid in the house.
Good morning. Good morning.
Happy Pie Day to everybody out there.
Oh, pie. I just want pie. I'm down for the pie. What kind of pie though? What are we talking? Apple? Talking pumpkin?
Mathematical
pie, baby.
It's got low calories.
All right. Do you know what comes after that 3.14?
3.1452936, I believe.
Well, there you guys have it. Zunaid and I weren't even going to try, but there you have it. My man Ryan coming in there.
141. I missed a digit. 3.14159.
We won't knock you for that digit, Ryan. Let's go, baby. Let's get to the market action. Let's take a look at what's going on. I'm going to quickly just run through my swings. We'll look at Ryan's outlook on the S&P 500. You guys can mention any smaller names too. I'm sure Ryan has an eye on some of those. And then we'll kick it to Zunaid, right? Let's get going here. Let's take a look at some of the ones that I have. Citi, just need to cut this right out the open. I took some profits yesterday as we were coming lower here through the 45. Just going to cut this position out the open here. Chevron, overall, I got in this one yesterday for the swing on the short side. I'm up right now. I got this at 160.01. We'll look to see if we can get some downside action. Short Oxy, short Valero still. I still have this one from yesterday. We were able to take profits towards 6%. Going to look to take 8% on Valero if we can keep coming down. Still up about 4.2% on this one. Win just slightly down now as the market's going higher here. So we're probably going to cut this one towards the open. Just doesn't want to crack. And if the market's going to make an up move today, I definitely don't want to be short on too many names. It looks like everything's back to normal. At least that's what it seems like. I'll kick it to you, Ryan.
All right. So first thing we're going to take a look at here is going to be the SPY chart. Obviously, the banks and what's going on with the banks is the primary focus. That's what we're seeing here again today. We did get the CPI print today. We're actually strong prior to the print. People expecting a decent number. And when we went ahead and got the print, market actually sold off first and then bounced. And we've actually put in some new highs here. I appreciate you putting up the CPI data there right at the bottom of the screen, Mitch. Looking at the SPY here, we pretty much bounced off that 384 level, 383.98, 384. I know we overshot it a little bit, but basically we've bounced off this now. So really the next thing is to figure out, where does this end, right? Where do we continue to bounce? Do we continue to trade up? Or is this just kind of a relief rally before we resume some more downside trading? I'm still in the bear camp. I think that when banks are struggling, that's not good news. So and I don't believe that the underlying cause here has been fixed. So I remain bearish, at least in the near term here. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't get a relief rally. Congrats to all of those who were catching falling knives yesterday. That wasn't something that I wanted to play, but a number of members did. FRC, WAL, Charles Schwab, all of those having some pretty big bounces. So those are likely to be in play here today. Let me go ahead and flip over to the movers tool. We can get a picture of what's going on. First of all, something non-bank related is going to be ticker AIMD, not AMD, but AIMD. This is Anio shares are trading higher after the company announced it signed a memorandum of understanding with Merdry Biopharmaceuticals to jointly explore and develop a strategic business relationship. Okay, seems kind of vague to me. We did pop as high as 168. We've bled back some of those gains. To me, this is not the greatest PR in the world. Maybe if some of you have a line on this, so you can expand on it a little bit. I would say that this is going to trade technically. Maybe we bounce, maybe we break some highs, but just keep that on mind here, or keep that in mind here. Trading a lot of shares here today. had a huge pop, so we'll see if this is moving around here for a potential play. Now, the next couple of things here are all going to be banks, right? So this is PacWest Bank. A lot of these are bouncing after yesterday. You can actually see, especially, oops, clicking on the wrong thing here. Sorry about that. When you look at some other charts here, you can see we're bouncing, but we're not quite back to where we are. So if you think that these banks are going to fully recover, there's often going to be a lot of space here that you'll be able to trade for those. I'd be curious to know how any of you are trading some of the banks. If you have a bank trade plan, whether it's long or short duration or long duration, let the chat know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what all of you see. Ticker WAL. This is one of the biggest bounces yesterday. WAL and FRC are going to be two of those banks that really, really bounced yesterday. And then, of course, Charles Schwab is going to be one of them as well. The other key thing to note here is that some of these bank ETFs might be another way to kind of play this bank bounce. If you don't want to put all of your eggs into a single bank, you could try playing the ETF route. So we're going to watch a lot of those different things here today. Here's the Charles Schwab chart. As you can see, Charles Schwab, one of the better banks out there or better institutions out there. So we'll see if these bounces continue. Again, I remain bearish, so I don't want to necessarily make a long-term call on this. There's a lot of back and forth here, but these have really provided some great trading vehicles in the meantime. The other thing to note here is that with that print, Bitcoin was moving as well. And we saw Bitcoin move yesterday. We saw Mara and Riot and Coin give excellent trades yesterday. Coinbase had a 10 or 11 point range yesterday. So definitely some trading opportunities there. And guess what? It looks like that is happening again. Bitcoin spiking to above 26,600 on the Bitcoin futures here this morning. Whenever that happens, a lot of these Bitcoin charts react to it. And that's exactly what we're seeing here today. So Bitcoin and banks and ticker AIMD. That's all I got, Zunaid. You ready to take it away?
All right, let's talk about it. Let's go with Charles Schwab. Nice little reclaim of $50 on Charles Schwab yesterday. Now we're trading at about 59.30s. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple because that's going to be one of the looks that I'll be paying attention to. You've got a high of 153.07 area of yesterday, and then you've got the low that I'm going to pay attention to in the pre-market of 150. So I've got my two alerts set. And you will see which way the market wants to react. If it goes higher, I want to see at least a 5-minute candle close, if not a 15-minute candle close above the 153 area for a long, and then a break of 150 would help me go short. You can see how yesterday we reclaimed the 150, back tested it, and then made new highs. So that's something to keep an eye on. Tesla was relatively weak in the first half of the day compared to the market, and it kind of gained some strength as it made new highs. The 180 area is something to keep an eye on. If you're trying to go long, the break of 180 is where I would go ahead and wait again for that 5-minute candle and that 15-minute candle to close to take this one to the upside. And then let's go ahead and take a look at, let's think there's another one for Google. There we go. On Google, 93.20. So we're going to go ahead and set an alert right there. That's the high that we've had some trouble breaking through. You can see how it was support, which then turned into resistance, and then we'll see if it ends up acting as resistance to the upside or not. Taking a look at Microsoft after we reclaimed that 150 yesterday, same story as that 150 and the 50 for Charles Schwab. You had Microsoft here. Let me go ahead and take away the EMAs. Here's a 150. Had some resistance in the pre-market, popped above, back tested it, give you a nice little move of a couple of bucks, and then went to the upside we went. So now you've got this 152.78 area that's going to hold on as support. Possibly you can see resistance, tested in the pre-market, held at the moment. If this goes ahead and cracks, you could get a revisit to the 250 area. So I would probably play this one light with some shares, wait till the 250, close them right around here if you're going to go short. And that's the way I'd go ahead and play ticker MSFT. Taking a look at Meta, we've been waiting for this 190 pop for a few weeks, or excuse me, for about a week now. You can see again, resistance. What are we going to get here? If the market wants to rally, Meta's a name that I want to pay attention to, especially if we can get over 190. I'd be looking to get some calls and go long equity itself as well. Or if it wants to come right back down, we're back within this range. Obviously, we broke out of it a bit yesterday with the news and things like that, but long above 190, short below 180 is the move for me on that. Boeing, you had a reclaim of 200 here, and then went to the upside. Not really sure how I'd want to play this one today. You could wait for that 206 to be held as support, but I'll be honest, for me, the biggest move was just waiting for the 198 to break if you wanted to go short, or the 200 to reclaim. I didn't get a chance to play this one yesterday, so I'm going to move on from there. So there's nothing there that I thought. I'm going to need you to change that smoke alarm. Look, one day I will. I'm not going to lie to you. One day I will. And it's interesting because some days I don't even recognize that it's happening, but some days I'm like, oh my God, it is happening. But it's interesting y'all can hear it because that's like all the way out there in the other room.
It's crazy loud too. That's the craziest part is that I think it's your alert.
Let me close the door.
Alarm.
Well, no. It's got to be because no alerts have blasted off today. I don't know. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll close the door. I'll close the door and see what's what. Yeah, see, people at home are like, was it mine? Yes, it's your smoke alarm. Please go ahead and take care of it and change your batteries. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY. I can't believe I didn't go over that in the first place. You've got the 390 break that we're looking at. So you can see resistance. Now we're popping up. This area here is what you want to see. I wouldn't mind if it kind of pops up, has a retest of this 390 area. Be very careful though. Make sure you take a little bit of a smaller size in case it just kind of completely dips on you. But 390 break and hold and basing is what I want to see on the SPY. If we go ahead and come back below that, you can get a revisit of 388, and then 385 is where I'd want to go ahead and scalp some calls. The market is off and we are away. I'm gonna let you take over here while I close my door.
Yeah, no problem. I really quickly want to address something here. Jay Rice, you guys were talking about some of the banks here. Jay Rice, interesting comment here. Citadel reporting a 5.3% stake in WAL. That's one of the banks. That's Western Alliance Bank. Here's what he's talking about. All right. So in the news feed here today, we've got news that Western Alliance Bank, the Form 13G shows that Citadel took a 5.3% stake. So Jay, you're saying BTFD. So there you go. So that seems to me that is one of your buy indicators. Would love to see your thoughts on how you're playing the rest of the sector here, but this one pretty good. As soon as that popped up, I noticed that. And one of the other things you'll see here in the news feed is that Wells Fargo maintained an overweight rating, but just readjusted the price target. So even with the readjusted price target of 65, we're still 27 points away from that. Let me go ahead and flip over to my main workspace here, and we'll go ahead and take a look at what's moving out here. SPY first move here is a continuation up. Interestingly enough, JPM first move is down. FRC currently holding at about 49, but that got as low as 18 bucks yesterday, didn't it? 17.53 was the low yesterday. $50 break here on FRC. Kenneth, Mitch stepped away for a sec, I think probably to get some juice. Z on fire. Z is always on fire with that haircut. Zunaid in his submarine doing sonar pings, lol.
Lol.
Just watching some of the bank issues here. And everything on my list here are banks or Bitcoin. EUDA. Someone was on this yesterday. Who was this on this yesterday? Actually, this decent opportunity here was we break through yesterday's intraday high. 320 seems to be the spot here on EUDA. Let's see if we can get some push. Currently, high print here is 331. Let's see if we can get some push away from this area here. Big pull here on EUDA. Let's see if we can reclaim 320 and go. PACW is halted. Good call, Dave.
All right, you've got the SPY making an approach to about the 391s. Now on the back test of the 390s is where I'd look to go long. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase 200 shares of the SPY at 390.10 if we do get a back test.
There you go. Formula. Put the CPI print in the chat there for you. EUAD consolidating here after this pullback. We actually really like to see this. If it can hold this and then move again through 320, you might get your second run towards that 331 high. Ticker EUDA.
Yeah, Tesla did have a nice little open, blasted above the 180s. We'll see if it holds. At the moment it is.
Here we go. EUDA trying to break that high. It should pop if it does here. There it goes. New highs, 333, your new high there. Let's see if we get some continued push. Nice little pullback here to that 320 area. SPY
did go and get filled. Now we wait for this to hold. I've got 200 shares of SPY at 390.10.
Let's go, Zunaid. Let's go.
Look at that. So you've got the 190 still being trouble for, let me go and move this up. Still being trouble for Meta. You need the market to participate. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little side by side. So you've got Meta on the left. We'll have the SPY on the right. And there is a SPY trying to make something shake here. There we go. Come on. We're about 20 cents in the money, but that's not enough. We're looking for at least 75 cents to be in the money. There's 40 cents. There we go. Keep it moving. There's Meta to the upside as well. Now we're going to have a little bit of resistance at around 390.50s, but we just went ahead and cracked that. Now we're at 63s. I need about another 13 cents. Come on.
By the way, some news here on Meta driving that. Meta laying off some employees. Let me get you the exact stats on that.
Calls. Call grateful. Calls. Here we go. Come on. 2 cents away. There's no way. There's no way. Don't do this to me. Thank the Lord. There we go. Just went ahead and got the limit filled. So that's a nice little $100 profit or so. And the main reason we took that trade, though, let's talk about it, is the fact that you had this 390 that kept being resistance, kept being resistant. Didn't want to chase up here. We waited for the retest. And then on that retest is when we got it. We risked about 50 cents to the downside. We got 50 cents to the upside.
Great job there, Zunaid. Real quickly on Meta. Meta platform expects to reduce team size by around 10,000 people. So continuing to cut costs here in this environment. That is one of the reasons your stock is reacting here today.
Yikes. Come on, Meta. All right, let's see which stocks are relatively strong. You've got the Qs now crossing above 295s here. Yeah, I'm not going to play that. I'm not interested in that.
Noel, sometimes the public perception does not accurately reflect what's going on there. I'm in complete agreement with you. Elon seems to be public enemy number one now that he's speaking up for free speech. When Zuck does the same thing, he is a genius.
One also has more of a public presence than the other, you know?
Yep.
Why didn't you hold SPY for longer? Simply just because I wanted to just take my gains and go. What I could have done, that's a good question. What I could have done, should have done, would have done, is I had 200 shares, right? I could have had 100 sold at 390.75, then moved my stop loss to break even and let the other 100 ride for another 75 cents. That is something that I could have done. I'll be honest, for me, it's trading view here doesn't let me do bracket play. But what I could have done is on my trade station here, that's to my left side, I could have placed that. But thank you for pointing that out. That's definitely something that I want to continue working on, and I appreciate that. All right, there's the pop on Meta as well, the 190.
Mara and Riot, and I guess you could also throw Beto in there, the Bitcoin ETF, all of them bouncing off the first pullback there. Mara and Riot both came back into VWAP. Hut did the same thing. So all of those charts look the same here. Cypher Mining, big move here in CIFR. Someone from the chat brought this to our group. I feel like a couple of months ago. Big move here, probably the biggest of those so far. EUDA still flirting with those new highs here. Let's see if it can break 334. I have as the high print. Let's see, 335, the high print, but really button up against this level right here. Let's see if it takes that out on ticker EUDA. Big pull here on EUDA right as I flip to it. Good morning, Walter. Hopefully you're doing well. Samuel, looks like you're trading Bitcoin. Let's go.
All right, now I'm going to go ahead and have a buy order out there for Meta around 190.10s or so. So again, waiting for that retest. We got the breakout above 190. 5-minute candle about to close here in 6 seconds. Now I want the retest.
FRC halted. It's like a downside halt here. JPM at lows as well. SPY continuing to move to highs.
Popped above 391, 12s now, which is now session highs at the 15s and 16s as it keeps on running. We may not get the test on Meta, but we're not going to chase. Should be swinging JPM here. JPM. You know, it'll be interesting because all the money from these small banks got to go somewhere, right? And I would assume that they're go to your household names as your cities, your JPMs, your Wells Fargos. So the big banks possibly just go bigger.
I would say for a swing, if you were going to swing it here, I would use the recent lows as your cut. So maybe trade it against 128. JPM definitely best in breed in terms of retail banking here. So like Zunaid said, that money's got to go somewhere. People aren't going to withdraw. We talked about this yesterday. People aren't going to withdraw the money and put it in a safe or put it under their mattress. It's got to go somewhere. Yeah.
One trade that I definitely missed here is the NVIDIA one. As you had a back test of that level of 236.33, but that's long gone. Not going to chase it. Still waiting on Meta to be filled at around 190.14.
Clean Spark making a move. Might have a opportunity on CLSK above 260. Good shot there, Becca. CLSK moving here this morning up 11% here. See if that continues. Let's check on how some of these other banks are doing. Schwab at lows here. Let's try to bounce off the lows on Schwab. Ally not selling off yet.
Why is Mitch missing? He won't be missing for long. I can assure you.
Yeah, he just stepped away for a minute.
Sorry about that, guys. We're dealing with a dog mess. You know how it is having dogs. So I just went out there and they had like ripped up some papers to shred everywhere. I was just like, oh my God, got to clean this up. But I'm back. All right, let's focus in here.
Meta at highs.
All right. So at least first things first is managing, right? I'm looking at Oxy pushing a little bit higher here, really close to where kind of I got in. It's actually a little bit in the red, but my other oil plays into the green there, so just keeping an eye out on that. Valero did do a little bit of a spike back, so I'm going to keep an eye out on that one. We'll find out what happens there. The market up today is just like confusing. Let's just say that much.
The day is young, Mitch. How many times have we seen the market trade up out of the open only to reverse to lows later in the afternoon? We might still see that action here today.
This is very true. We'll see what happens in the bank situation. I feel like it was so overdone, but that's just my opinion, I guess. I guess I'm not in the majority camp there.
But that's okay, Mitch. Not being in the majority is sometimes a good thing. That's what makes a market.
I mean, yeah, the only thing is I listened to them yesterday. So that's the part where it gets a little bit difficult. Like I felt like yesterday I came in and there were so many people worried about the banks. I necessarily wasn't at first, but then listening to all the talking heads out there, they definitely turned me. I was like, man, should I go get my money out of Ally? You know?
I remember having that discussion with you, actually. But
yeah,
where else
Ryan,
are you going to put it?
You know what I mean? I mean, where else was I going to put it, right? Yeah, where else was I going to put it, right? What am I going to put it in my digital wallet?
Go out and buy Bitcoin?
Turn it all to Bitcoin and then hide it in my digital wallet?
So there you go. Jay Rice giving you some stats there. Actionable stuff here, Jay. Really appreciate it. Mitch, the oscillators hit 120 yesterday. That was worse than the COVID lows. Plus put call ratio was near highs. So which oscillator are you using would be my only follow-up question.
Yeah, it's just how it is sometimes, right? The market likes to hurt where it can hurt the most.
Mara back down to its VWAP, by the way. Same with Riot.
Looking to see if Chevron's going to reject this 160 move or not. Then if it doesn't, like let's say if it gets back towards 160 50s, I'm just going to have to get out. I like these oil shorts, man, but the market going up today is just going to shake that. So just watching the market right now. How's Apple and the big boys? Strong.
Yeah, Apple's strong here. Apple at highs.
That just makes me think that we're just going to keep pushing all day.
Now, remember yesterday we were talking about the VIX. VIX was highest right after the open. It sold off and it continues to melt here today.
I mean, look at the reversal on SoxL. Look at the reversal on that. That tells you a lot. Tech name's super strong here. I would be not fighting Meta at all. At all. I feel like that's an long only trade right now. Look at that.
FRC open and trying to bounce here.
Monster rip out the gates there for Meta. That's strong. What's that? Almost 5% here from this morning. It's a strong day out there.
Look at Apple struggling to get over that 153. So definitely something to keep an eye on. If it does go ahead and close above that level on the 5, the 10, or the 15, you go ahead and try to go long there, or at least I definitely will. Taking a look at Amazon here. If I can click onto it, there's Amazon. 94s. Seems to be resistance yesterday. Seems to be resistance today as well. So that's an area you can keep an eye on.
Right, gave us a little bit of a bounce on WTI, so might get out of this oil trade. I mean, it's not going much, it's not going far, but the market could shake me out today. Too bullish.
Where is Meta on the 190C? It just needs to be. All right. We'll figure that out later.
Mitch, you want to give a sector rundown? Beans and rice.
Yeah, I got you, man. Technology up 1.2%. Energy 1.01%. These are from the open. Industrials behind that. So technology, energy, and industrials. What is in the red? Real estate. That's the only thing from the open that is in the red. Now, real estate is still green overall, but from the open is in the red. Now, there is some names that are less as strong, like utilities, but industrials, financial services, energy, technology, all strong green. Let's find out what's leading from the open there. Solar and technology having a really nice day. EMPH, First Solar, pushing strong. SEDG, pushing strong, back to 330s there. Run, getting a little bit of a push there today. So looks like all solar names except one on my radar in the green, in the red there. So we'll see what happens with that. Semiconductors, of course, pushing higher. Those looking good. Software application names, things like that. Energy pushing higher here. So we'll see what happens. About to get stopped out there in Chevron. Still have decent position in Valero, but Oxy and Chevron looks like we might get stopped out today.
FRC halted up. Same with PACW. So two of those banks bouncing here pretty good. Halted up.
All right, Meta, you going to give us a retest or no?
Wall halted up too, I believe.
Yeah, it may not. I might hold this.
All right, 950 here, team. We'll see if we start seeing a little bit of a turnaround, or do we keep pushing a little bit higher here? SPY looks like it wants to keep pushing. It's on this like kind of slight uptrend for the last like almost what we're going to call it there, an hour, a little bit over an hour. So let's see if we break that trend line, come back towards 390s, or do we take the next step up through 392s?
EUDA here pushing off of that. Remember, we talked about this is good that it consolidates right around the VWAP after that pullback. Here we go. Consolidated volume expanding a little bit, and we're pushing up to highs. Let's see if we take out that 335 here on EUDA. Decent trade here from 310 right at the VWAP.
Something interesting to note here. And again, we're still waiting on Meta to go ahead and fill us at 190.14s on the back test if it wants to go ahead and do it. On what is it? FRC, is that the First Bank? Yeah, First Republic Bank. Something to watch here. Let me go ahead and put my charts up. Is you had resistance here, right? Which obviously had resistance then later on in the day. And look at that. You find support at that same area. So you now have resistance turn into support. I tried to buy some here, but it said, hey, you dummy, it's halted. You can't. So something to keep in mind is if this area holds, the $43 area could be something to go ahead and purchase for me. Maybe give it about $2, $3. But obviously, remember, this thing can go wild. You can get news like this and you can get screwed. So make sure you're very mindful. Matter of fact, this might be where I could go in with some calls if there are any on this. That way I know exactly the amount I'm losing if I do go in. Another area is to see if we get a crack above 50 and hold. So those are the two lines that I've got drawn with my little crayon here. There you go, Crow. I'm thinking the same thing, pal. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull up the options here. Da-da-dum-dum, da-da-dum-dum. All right, let's see. FRC. Do we have options for you? Yes, we do. But wow, are you a little spready? All those stocks halted, so okay. What I might do, chat, depending on when this unhalts and where the price action goes, is I'm looking at the $50 calls on FRC that expired this week. There you go. So we've got 3 days till expiration. So we might get a little degenerate today. I will keep you posted.
SPY holding for now. Tesla back at VWAP. I am not feeling in the zone today.
You had First Republic go from 20 to 50 today. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah. It's just How it goes, I guess.
Come on, FRC. What are you going to do, Meta, about 30 cents away from giving us a little bit of a retest?
Southwest executive says now expect to receive 90 Boeing jet deliveries in 23 compared to the prior estimate of 100 jets. Cutting the price down.
10% reduction.
Yeah, the purchase. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't seem all that bad for me.
Yeah, now they said they completely stopped those deliveries. Then that'd be a little different, right?
PXMD, more highs here. PXMD, nice little move there through 218, giving you some new highs here. Jay Wild, you're talking about GNS, good old GNS. This has moved for us before.
Well, if you guys think we're just going to have a nice bullish day, Snap looks interesting on the pullback here around 1050s, maybe slightly below that, but...
Oh, GNS, huge move.
GNS.
Yeah, 50 cent move here on a 3 break on GNS. Is there any news for this, or is this just...
Big support underneath it in the 3s. You can see the gap to the left.
No new news on GNS.
See if they take the 50s here. There you go. Someone took the offer there.
BRB.
All right. Let's see what else is making moves.
All right. Real quick on my meta trade, if you saw me put my
out of win team.
Where is it? Okay. All right. A little bit of a mishap here on the meta trade. We got the fill, but then on the sell side, I was trying to have multiple legs, and I fumbled it. But all right, we're gonna have one leg that's gonna be sold at about 191.79, and then we'll have another leg that'll be sold maybe around 193.64s. Stop loss will be the crack of 188 on the 100 shares. What happened is I had a purchase here where I won around the 190s, but when I tried to create the 2 legs, it mistakenly just sold it. So it was a kind of a weird situation where we made $50 on the trade, but it didn't quite work out. But anyway, so we bought it again, unfortunately around the same price that we sold it at. So you're going to see a little bit of a weird thing, but nonetheless, we're looking to sell 50 shares at 190, 191.79s, and then 193.64s. We'll see if it gets there. Focus still is on First Republic Bank, waiting for that one to reopen.
And I agree with Lori giving me a shout out there in the chat, but at the same time, giving me just the patience, right? Take a deep breath, right? Calm down, right? I think this is important, right? Right now, I don't feel connected with the market. I don't feel focused. I don't feel like I'm nailed in on my levels. So what am I doing? Just not doing anything, just watching, right?
It's very kind of Lori to call you a guru. I think we found Mitch's burner account, Ryan.
Nah, man, I'm actually getting the on the street mentions, man.
I heard you got some fake accounts out there, so that's how you know you made it.
Honestly, they do better than I do, Zunaid. I don't know, man. These fake accounts, I'm gonna have to get them to take in charge of my social account or something, because they get more followers than I do, Zunaid. I'm like, how's the fake account have more followers than the real account?
Hey, look, I know a guy off the street if you want that. By the way, 50 shares just sold on Meta, so we are locked and loaded. So where is it? I think it was Nathan, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. So here we go. First leg filled. We're going to go ahead and have a we're going to go ahead and do it to break even. Now, look, yes, I understand this doesn't show break even, but remember, it's because I had bought Meta earlier, had that whole mishap. But if we go ahead and break the 190, I am out. Let me actually go ahead and just move it like right there. Cool. And now the next leg, we'll look to sell it at 193.64. Hopefully we can do that while we're on the show. And I believe you have FRC that is now open, because I think I just saw that move. Yes. Now at $47. Let's see what the options are going for here on they're about a 60-cent spread. Do I want to spend $7 on a single contract to be a degenerate? Let's see. Here's what I'll do. I'll see if I can get it filled at like 550 or something. Let me see. Where's the 550? place order. Yes. Yes. All right. I'm looking to purchase $50 calls on FRC at $5.50. If I can get the fill, I will cut it once it goes ahead and breaks 43, assuming I get filled in the first place. Currently, the bid is at 610.
You're looking at that 50 call that expires March 17th?
Yeah. We about to get degenerate. Here you go. You can see buy limit just one contract at 550. Currently working, waiting to be billed. We're up about $225 on the day. If Meta can continue its rise, that should be some good money.
All right, probably gonna get stopped out at Oxy and Chevron here. So you guys, I'll let you guys know if I do get to stop out there.
So Mitch, it was not you that DM'd me about a great crypto opportunity.
Smacks. At least did they tell you about live trading? That's all I need from them. The fake accounts out there. I just need you at least telling people about live trading.
Beans and rice, get some steps in. I need to do that a little bit later today.
Sydney, by the way, every time that you mention TDW, I smile a little bit because I think back to Tidewater Golf Club where I played at Myrtle Beach. It was one of the best courses that I played there. So TDW, Tidewater Inc. reminds me of one of the best golf courses I played. So it makes me smile every day.
Not on Twitter. At least on Twitter, I got the verification check, team. So at least there, you probably won't get the fakes. There is another fake on Twitter there, but I've already claimed it. And Elon told me that only AIs work at Twitter now. So there's no real body. I don't think there's anybody that works at Twitter anymore.
All right, come on, Meta. All right, let's see. So the bid now on those contracts is 550. So I might get filled here. I might just get filled here. I think if we go ahead and break this 45 area, I might get filled.
That's how it is. Be careful out there, man. That, especially the Instagram guy, man. That guy's killing it out there, whoever he is.
Market feeling a little heavy here. This might be prime for a reversal.
This is also why you don't put everything out on social media, team. This is why I try not to put out a lot of pictures of like my family or anything like that, because these weirdos, man, they'll steal it.
Yeah, they do. That's a good idea.
Yeah, like I'll put stuff about myself, right? Because I'm public. I'm public face, but I don't want anybody else to be exposed because of me, right? So there's some weirdos out there. I'm seeing SBO show up there. I've never even heard of SBO. It's an oil name going higher.
EUDA broke that high when it's to 344 and then pulled back. So
buy still going higher, trying to get back there to 392s.
All right, looks like I did go ahead and get filled on my options trade on FRC. Let's go to the position. So there you can see I am long the 50 calls expiring this week. Average price 550, just one contract.
Jay Rice saying the General Hacker Collegiate Golf Tourney is at Myrtle Beach today and yesterday. What is the General Hacker Collegiate Golf Tourney? I'm gonna look that up.
How dare you not know about a golf tournament that's going on, Ryan?
Well, no, it's the name of the tournament, General Hacker, that gets me I don't understand.
I'm going to look to sell these contracts, by the way, at $7.50 if I can.
That's how they do it to you, man. They mirror it.
North Florida Golf League, maybe. Jay, what courses in Arizona need to get played? I'll call you the next time I go out there.
So I'm looking right now, JPM kind of hanging in here on the VWAP. Is it going to come up here back towards the open, or are we going to go lower on the banks today? That's where it gets a little bit tricky if we do start getting a downturn in the banks today. Watching FAZ, it's just going sideways right now. It did pull back to 22 just a short second ago. SPY just hanging in sideways right now. It hasn't really gone up in, like, let's say about, what, 24 minutes?
All right, we're up about $100 on those call options on FRC. We want that to continue going, and it looks like you've got Meta coming down. We're about 60 cents away on Meta on getting stopped out.
Apple at highs again.
Who's at highs, you said? Apple. Yeah, I'm trying to get above that 153. 153.
All right, Tesla pulling back. SPY not doing much right now. Let's see if it goes through 392. It's just on a slow move, though, today. Not much range today, at least in the intraday where we've gone like what? 1.1.
Come on, FRC.
Yeah, Jay. I heard a lot of them are super expensive. Troon 600 a round, man, and that's just gotta say that's above my price range for a round.
Is a round 18 holes?
Yeah.
Okay. What's like the average price that like is acceptable?
Well, I mean,
vague question depending on the person, but
I mean, it depends on the person. You can find them anywhere. Like in Myrtle, the courses that we played were either 100 to 150 around.
And that's like per person?
Yeah, per person with a cart.
Got it. How long does it take you out to play 18 holes?
It depends on how fast it's moving. I would say anywhere between 3 to 5 hours.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, so like
no, it's awesome.
Hour.
Being outside, the courses are gorgeous. It's really awesome.
Yeah, talk shit, hit some balls, sip a little pina colada. All right, who just slacked me? My man Zoltan. We do have an interview later today with ticker SMX. Security Matters. They actually rang the bell earlier this morning, so that'll be a fun little interview. I'm going to have to go get cleaned up here in about 20 minutes. Go shave, look pretty. All right, let's see what happened. All right, so I'm clearly not going to get my SPY fill at 390.07. I no longer care about it. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that to free up some capital. Let's lock back in on Facebook. Nothing happening there. Facebook said, I'm up 6%. What more do you want from me? I'm not going anywhere. Slightly interested in this Microsoft trade. My stop loss would be about 156.50 break.
You know, looking at some of these banks, they're holding in here, right? So they traded up in the pre-market. Some of them traded up right out of the open, but they're kind of holding this level. So not saying that they're going to break down, but the longer they hold this, the more compressed and coiled the move is going to be.
I just hesitated on a trade there for JPM. I noticed when I hesitate, I just hesitated. I had my hand on the trigger there. We got short in the 133s. Was thinking about JPM, VWAP fade right back down. I see what you're seeing, Ryan, but
yeah,
it's even hard for me to short them now because I just feel like there's just so much money in there to the long side now. I feel like I'm almost fighting.
That's exactly the point that I was making, Mitch. They're kind of holding in there. They can really go any way, either way, can't they?
Yeah, it feels like a trick here almost.
And so FRC, like right now, like looking at this intraday, this is just a 1 minute chart of FRC, right? And we came back into the VWAP, we bounced, we're setting higher lows as we go through that VWAP. Volume's drying up. We're kind of holding right in this range here. This chart to me looks like it wants to go, but I'm not sure if we're going to get that. We're already up 50% here today.
Yeah.
Maybe this is kind of it for the day.
Well, let's just test the $50 level though, you know?
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Let's just see what happens at $50 and then we can stop.
VIX melt has stopped, really kind of hold it in here at 23.5. Wall breaking down here now, by the way. Let me put that up here. FRC breaking down a little bit too. Wall next spot here, 33.50 for a potential bounce. We are below VWAP, so maybe you'll get a snap back to the mean there for a quick scalp.
Well, there goes JPM. We'll see if it goes through 132s. Didn't take the trade though, team. Was hesitant today. Just gonna not trade today. It's gonna be a no trade day for me. Just not feeling it at all. I tried, team. That would probably be the one trade that I was looking at. I was also looking at FAZ off the VWAP, and it already did it. Like it went to VWAP right on the dot, 2220s, back up there to 2270s. But with all the FOMO action this morning, it got me again. So talking heads, ruining my at least mentality right now, because I would probably still think that the banks could come down, but it seemed like that was all done today. So then you get to the open, and now you look at these major banks, and they're all just down out the gates here. So it's just like, well, is it just coming back into the market? That's just how it is right now. So no trade day for me on day trades right now, and probably going to be a no trade day today.
All right, on Facebook, when I went ahead and got stopped out, you also have the 392 rejection one more time on the SPY. So now you have your level of what you need to clear. You've got a $2 range. We're right in the middle of it. Not going to try to get cute with it. The only thing that I am going to try, actually, well, it's not a try. I still have it, is going to be this FRC. We were up $100, which is approximately 20% on the trade, but we were looking for more so 40%, give or take. But yeah, if it cracks this 43 to the downside, I will get rid of my options trade that is long at the moment. Mailings. Can y'all still hear the battery? That's crazy.
Yeah, I can still hear it.
That's awesome. makes me feel comfortable that if there is, God forbid, a fire or smoke or anything,
we're going to yell at you to evacuate your building because we'll hear it.
I'll be awake. I won't even be streaming, and y'all will hear it. You know. Matter of fact, let me get my Instacart order ready and have some batteries in there.
Instacart order. By the way, someone was asking earlier about Rivian. Leonardo, looks like, what's going on with Rivian? Just so you're, first of all, Rivian selling off today here, looking like it's approaching one of yesterday's lows. But the overall arcing news here is that they did a offering. Right, so back on Wednesday, March 8th, they priced a $1.3 billion green convertible senior note offering. They're worth noting that one of the analysts here, Bank of America analyst John Murphy, did reiterate Rivian with a buy, despite the plan to raise capital, said that plan was not too surprising. So, again, if you want to read through some of these notes, I highly suggest trying out Benzinga Pro. Gives you all of that information right at your fingertips. But that's what's going on in Rivian, Leonardo. Actually, let's check on coin. I haven't even checked on coin yet today. Shame on me.
They had some nice call options yesterday. I think the $7 call is expiring this week. Around the 50-ish is where they bought them. I want the. What do you think, chat? Should I get the Chick-fil-A barbecue sauce? Those are so good. Let's see.
All right, just looking around now, you're seeing already a pullback there in that FAZ. You're seeing the SPY bounce off the VWAP a little bit. It didn't get there exactly to the VWAP. Got close there. It was about 20 cents off there, maybe a little less than that 20 cents. And it's trying to get back to 392s. 392s, I think, is an important level today to watch for. You got multiple highs right off close to that 392. You didn't necessarily hit it yet. You hit 391.92s, 391.93s. So you see how that right above 392s would be important to kind of keep an eye out.
Sabrina, I'm with you 100% here. Sabrina says, I need Z's Zen because at 2 a.m. I would have grabbed a ladder and ripped the battery right out. Sabrina, no, I completely understand here. There was one time where I was sick and the smoke detector battery kept beeping and it was literally 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was so tired and upset that I literally knocked it right off the ceiling. Battery popped out on the floor.
No way.
I'll deal with it in the morning. So
That's crazy.
yep.
Yeah, things fly.
Been there. Been there.
Things fly.
That's insane.
That's all I would have said. Things fly.
Real quick with coin, just an absolutely huge move here. There's a 16-point move from yesterday's lows to today's pre-market highs. Now, right out of the open here, we tried to trade up to those highs where we were rejected, and it's been weak ever since. So Coinbase actually showing more weakness than Bitcoin itself here. Some of the other plays seem to have a little bit more strength. Take a look at some of these others. PACW, this other bank here. This looks like a pretty good chart too. This looks like this really wants to pop 15 off and move towards the highs.
Tesla analysis, please. Well, how can we not when you said please?
Said it so nicely. I mean, I think you
Right.
ought to at this point.
182, clear resistance right there on the day. I would have said 180 is where support should have been held, but you can see you got a dip below $1 of that. So what do I know? Clearly nothing. But yeah, there's 180 areas where I'd want it to hold. If you wanted to risk $1, you could, but a better play might be a breakout over 182, especially if you can go ahead and get the SPY to break 392s. Also keeping an eye on Meta if that one decides to pop back over above 190, but if you want to risk $1, well, now it's more than $1 because it's moved up since I started talking because I am a pumper, clearly, of Tesla. I've got that clout. But yeah, around 180 is where I'd look to get an entry, and 179 cut, I would cut the trade itself. The question is going to be, however, what is going to happen with the SPY? Are we going to get above 392?
Well, if you think the banks are going to bounce today, then you're going to have a whole bunch of opportunities right now, right? So there's a lot of opportunity out there. The question is, do you want to take it?
If the question is, do I want to make money? Yes. But do I believe it's going to go long, short, this, that, the other? I feel like all the bad news is kind of, I don't want to say baked in because I don't have any proof of that, but I don't know.
It's a no-bake, man. No-bake cheesecake right there.
No
Baked
baked cheesecake.
All right. Once again, we had our FRC calls were up about $100. We did not sell because we're greedy individuals.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You said we.
Yeah, we greedy. You're not
Whoa, whoa.
greedy?
Psst, psst.
You're not
I
greedy?
give. I don't take.
All right. All right, if you say so.
But I give. I take from you.
Is it a triple top on the SPY?
Well, 1 minute, it would be
I
a very
don't think
hard
I trust
one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard trusting top. That's what I would say. Like, it could be top, right? I mean, the SPY has some multiple highs there. Like on the 5 minute, that's what I'm using more, and I could see that 392 rejection. So if you're calling that the triple top, then yeah, that kind of looks like a little bit of action. But this candle needs to close for it to be a triple top, not just a wick there, right? It actually needs to end the candle. So around, let's say 10:20, you'll have that candle close, and then we'll see it's a third rejection. And you only got to 82s. Remember, the last two highs were in the 90s. Let's see if we can get back to the 90s. Because this could easily just turn into a green candle, right? And if it pushes through 392, then you didn't really get a 392 rejection there.
Real quick, EUDA here, again, curling off of its VWAP, really using the VWAP as the bottom side support here. So it looks like it's gearing for another attempt to go through 335. We've been rejected at 335 a couple of times today. I think if we break above it, you might get a pop. You see, we did actually pop above it one time and was immediately pulled back. Let's see if we get some more strength the next time we go through 335. So EUDA, this looks like this does have some more upside here today. We'll see if that materializes. Crow, you were mentioning ONCS, which we've traded here recently. That having a monster day here today. Well, maybe not a monster day, but a nice trading day here today. Really kind of broke through yesterday's highs here on some decent volume. Now we're using the VWAP as support. We've pushed away from the VWAP, so what I would wait for here is another move back down towards the VWAP and maybe play it on a bounce right there. ONCS strong here today.
Part of me wants to be a degenerate and play the SPY here with a 50-cent stop loss below the 391 crack.
What, to the downside or to the upside?
I want to go long with the stop loss below 391 crack. But I'm just going to leave it be. Leave it to be.
Still like the JPM short, but not taking it, team. Not feeling it.
Not yet, huh?
I'm just not feeling it today, man. And then I whenever I do these kind of days where it's like I'm like in and out mentality, I'd rather be out and be in capital preservation today. So stop myself there. Trust me, I set up the trade even.
ONCS. Nice little $3 hold.
So interesting comment here. I'd like to get your guys' opinion and anyone else in the chat that wants to venture one. Big volume today. I think a no interest rate hike by the Fed is fueling this rally. So that seems to be what people are thinking about. Next week, we have the 2-day Fed meeting, and that is going to be the next interest rate decision. So what do we do? I know some people, Nomura was out with a note thinking that they're actually going to cut. I'll be honest, I don't see that happening. I think a cut would actually be worse for the market long term, but maybe a pause. The initial thought was before the bank explosion was maybe 50 bips. I know that percentage has kind of come in, that probability has kind of come in more favoring a 25 bips raise, but now people talking about pauses as well. So be interested to hear what the group thinks about what the Fed is going to do next week.
You already know my answer. I've got no clue. I've got a couple other questions to answer here, Mitch, if you want to go ahead and answer Ryan's.
Go for it, my friend.
Why? What was the question? Where'd it go? Can you explain why long on SPY? So I'm not long yet, but the reason I want to go long and I've got a trigger set is because you can see the 392 has been resistance once, twice, almost 3 times, and I'm about to knock on the door once again here. So if we go ahead and break above it, then I'm interested in going long. I am not long just yet on the SPY, but it is coming up against that resistance. I do expect it to break it and head to the upside. And there it is, breaking it. There are session highs there, but I'm not going to go ahead and get into the trade just yet. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how that goes. And then I think Tiffany said someone has a smoke detector with a low battery. Yeah, Mitch unfortunately has one at his house. It's right outside. It's the most annoying thing. Hopefully he can fix that.
Yeah, it's connected, to me.
Ryan just left. He didn't even just leave the
rug pulled, man.
He just went near.
He said he hit the computer off button on that one, man.
Yeah. But look, I'm gonna order some batteries. I'm gonna get on a little ladder because I'm a little short dude,
No, you're gonna get on your chair.
Take care. Yeah, we're
gonna
gonna
get on
take
your
care
chair.
of
You
the
ain't gonna get no
battery
ladder.
this weekend. This weekend we're gonna take care of it. So y'all got about 2 more days to deal with it. That's what I'm saying, right? The smoke beep just makes me feel alive. You know what I mean? It makes me alert to situations. Which book do you recommend to learn about yield curve and bond market? Yeah, I have no insight on that. Mitch? Hey, you want to learn about stocks and psychology? I'm here for you. But maybe Mitch and his book club have something for you there.
Yeah, so if you want to learn a little bit more about the bond market, that's going to be a little bit more of your not your most common books. Let's just say that. So what you want to do first, I think, is look more into kind of treasury markets, things like that, books on there. To tell you the truth, I haven't even read any of those books, so I don't know much about bonds. I can lead you to some yield curve types. But what you want to also maybe look into, and it seems like that's what you're thinking about, Sam, is maybe look into a little bit more about business cycles and market cycles, because I think that that's kind of one way to also look into what you're doing there. I think you're trying to look at how the bond market works with the stock market. But if you're just trying to look into the bond market, you're going to have to do a little bit more research on that. That's not really common knowledge there. I can look some up, but I can tell you right now, there's not many people reading bond market books. Some people do read a lot of market cycles, though. Like those types of books, there's definitely out there. SPY hit that 392. So you see how kind of like it can wick there and then be a little bit of a trick and really get your triple top there. Do you trade listening to Benzinga live squawk? I think Zunaid does.
Yeah, so I do and Ryan does. Ryan, I don't while I'm on air with y'all, because then I've got Mitch and Ryan in my ear, then I've got Charlie in my ear, then I've got my smoke detectors and everything. My mind would go fried up. But when I'm not on air, when I'm trading outside of it, absolutely, I have Benzinga live. Matter of fact, before I worked for Benzinga, the only reason I paid for Benzinga Pro was because of the squawk. And then I finally got to discover the other tools as the scanners and things like that. But yes, the squawk is one of the biggest assets that we have here at Benzinga Pro.
All
And
right.
if you're interested in getting deals on that, hit us up. We'll take care of you. By the way, you did have a close above 392 on the 5-minute candle. So part of me is going to go ahead and snag. Let me see what the 15-minute looks like here before I make any degenerate decisions. We're still waiting on a close there. So I'll go ahead and grab 50 shares because the 15-minute is still trying to figure its life out. Stop loss will be a crack of 391.
I got one for you. The bond book. How's that? That seems pretty.
Are you sure it's
there,
a book
right?
about bonds, though? I don't know.
Yeah, it actually is. I like the title. Whoever took it, but whoever took this one, you could check it out there. I threw up the link there to the Amazon link if you want to check it out. It's up to you guys if you want to check it out. But I really have no connections with this. It was just more along, hey, you wanted one? I can find it for you. That's not too hard. This is probably the top one. At least I've gone through a couple of like kind of review sites that brought this one up. But there's some other ones, right? There's like step-by-step analysis with Excel, bonds, if you like to use maybe Excel to have like an advantage, things like that. Managing corporate bond portfolio, that's another good one. And remember, when you're looking into bonds, it's very difficult. It's not just as simple as stock market. So you're going to have to do a little bit deeper look.
All right, you've got Amazon that's moving above the $94 level. Apparently I'm long. Cool. Sure. Whatever. Welcome back, Ryan.
Quantum asking a question about the CMT. Does it have a section on bonds? Not really. It's not something you use technical analysis for.
I did not know that. Huh.
I mean, you can look at yields charts and then look at that and then look to kind of like trade the bonds. That's a little bit different there, but we don't like specifically study them in that manner. And then one thing that the CMT does often is that it teaches you how to look in markets in all different type of markets. So what you use in the stock market, you necessarily can look in the other markets. They're just going to have different correlations on things.
All righty. Well, we've got about a minute 30 before the 15-minute candle closes on the SPY. And then that's when I'm going to go update my positions. Go shower, go shave, get ready for the interview. AMD still climbing. Yeah, NVIDIA just went ahead and hit the, 240 mark. AMD then hit the 8740 area as well. Things are moving. Amazon to the upside. We're in with 100 shares at 94.09. Looking for a stop loss at 93.42. Looking to take gains at 94.76.
See what happens, man. If you do like regional banks and you're looking for that, there is a setup on Ally here above 25s, but that's just one that I'm looking at. I'm not going to take anything there, but hey, I'll call it out there.
30 seconds.
I feel like the SPY's slow today, man, but that's just me maybe because I'm not trading.
Hey, I can take a nap, bro, right now. It's interesting. I was semi-awake at like 7:30, and I was like, man, I'm refreshed. And then I didn't wake up and move on with life. And then I woke up at like 8:15, 8:30, and I was like, man, I'm tired.
So Zunaid, so first of all, I've been tired ever since Sunday because of the daylight savings time here. It's really, the older I get, the more it throws me for a loop. I'm still not completely acclimated. I swear, all I wanted to do today was continue to sleep, but I got up. Here's the secret. When I get up, I pound a bunch of coffee. There is no way I could take a nap right now. Real quick. Sorry, Mitch.
You're good. Click on something else.
I wanted to address this question, but I wanted to address Zunaid first. Do you trade listening to Benzinga Live Squawk? Asks RG. Yes, I do. So a lot of the time, sometimes you'll actually see I'll have an earbud in this ear. When I do that, I actually have Squawk playing in my ear. Now, I don't have it on today. Some days, either too focused or I'm doing too many other things. Don't have it on today. But yes, a lot of the time I do listen to it. I will actually mention some of the things I hear on Squawk here on the show. And then I also wanted to reiterate what Walter said here. Walter said Squawk is awesome, would feel a little naked without it. Just so you guys understand, before I ended up working for Benzinga, I was a subscriber, a 5-year subscriber to Benzinga Pro, and it was the Squawk tool that got me in the door here. It is without a doubt one of the best trading tools I have ever come across. I highly recommend you all take advantage of it. Good question, though.
You and I have had similar experiences to the point where they'll think we're reading out of a script. I said the same exact thing you did. I'm going to update a couple of my positions here, and then I'm going to go get ready for the interview, go look handsome on the SPY. I'm still in. I'm looking to buy another 50 shares if I can around 392.05. Stop loss is going to be the same, similar area. But if I don't get it, we're still going to see if we can get about $59 on the SPY. On Amazon, we're in with 100 shares at 94.09. We'll have a stop loss at 93.42, looking to take gains at about 94.76. And then, of course, we've got FRC, as that one is moving to the upside here, looking for a test of $50. I do have an order out, so here, let me just quickly go over it. I've got one contract, long FRC, $50 calls expiring this week. I bought them for $550. They're currently trading for about $650, so we're up $100. I've got an order out to sell it at $750. We'll see if that gets filled. I am now going to go get ready for the interview. I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes or so.
All right. I'll get Zunaid in the background there. Get him to the background. Put my charts up. We'll take a look at what's going on out there. I don't see much, team. I was looking to see FAS, right? This is the bull. See if it was going to push up with the SPY here and push through the 60s. JPM still looks weak, and so that could still reverse still to the upside. Ally was another potential one here. That, like, if you're looking for upside actions in the banks, well, this doesn't look like a bad setup, right? I mean, I'm not going to take it because I'm not looking for that action, but I mean, hey, it's there at least, a setup, right? We'll see if this comes back up through 25s, 2550s, or does JPM come down here, right, and crack to the downside? Is it FAZ to the upside off the VWAP? Is it FAS here on a reversal from the 59? We'll find out. SPY still staying strong. Qs staying strong. So at least that area, you can still be looking for some upside lift there. NVIDIA, the tech names, Apple, pushing higher. Microsoft. I don't even need to like kind of look before I'm even looking. I'm just literally calling out names, and I could expect them a little bit higher there. So definitely the leading names still staying strong. How's Amazon? There you see it, strong, right? Well, the market's probably not going to really completely dump on us with that strength that we're seeing out there. Probably going to get stopped out in Chevron. I got to stop out right above it there towards 161.70s. So if that comes back up through there, I'll get out on those names. Still got some short on some oil names. Morgan Stanley still got the tiniest piece from 95.34. Going to look to see if we come down through the 90s now. If we come back up through kind of like 92, just get out. I'm going to get out on the rest of that. We'll find out right here. Really, I'm looking at JPM to see if we get the takedown through 32s, or does it start pushing up through 134s? All right, coin up 7.6%. Coin starting to come back there. Big pullback to the support, back to like around 62. Now bouncing back there to the VWAP. Let's go to the SPY and take a look at the leading names to the upside. And this is what I meant by seeing the SPY kind of uptrend from the very beginning here today. I mean, I'm going to put this down so we can draw this out a little bit better, but you can just see kind of like the uptrend line there, right? And as long as that line's staying strong, especially to the green, well, that looks like it's going to continue the trend. We'll see when this actually breaks the trend, right? It's just been on a straight uptrend, essentially. We'll look to see if this actually breaks now. If it just keeps going, it can get to 394 and keep climbing, right? We'll see what happens if we do get to pull back. Just to mention that, now you're seeing JPM looked like it wants to crack to the downside here. So, I mean, I have no idea which way this market's going to go, man. It just seems like it's all over the place.
It does seem like that. It's still pushing highs here on the indexes, though.
Yeah, like I want to short JPM, but I'm just not feeling it today, team. So it's how it is. I've literally wanted to short JPM like 3 times already. So FAS starting to come back. We'll see if it gets through 60s. Does the SPY turn around? Does it keep on the trend? And that's another reason why I'm not just shorting JPM, right? The SPY's up. There's no reason for me to be kind of getting too much short if the SPYs keep pushing like it is. What's your thoughts on Unity? Unity. All right. Well, Unity needs to come back and pretty much fast. It's down there to the bottoms. At least you got support around the 25s. Of course, it's 25 breaks. You got to be careful for these lows, 21, 22. But it could reverse off of here. I think it's all going to be more about those growth names come back into favor, like ARKK. You can see ARKK going back to 40. Well, yeah, maybe you like Unity. But for right now, I think this is one that could go sideways for a little while. I think it's going to be all about the market. Do we get a rip back to 400, 410, 420s? And are we out of the kind of the near end of the hike rates? I think that's what you need to be asking yourself right now, because some people are thinking that we are already going to get cuts.
Yeah.
That's going to be the thinking of the Fed is as all over the place as I've ever seen it. I will say that.
Part of that is because the Fed always seems to be late in whatever decision they make, right? It was transitory. They kept saying transitory all the way up when everyone else knew it wasn't transitory. And then the rate hikes came fast. Now it's destroyed a bank. So there's a lot going on here. I'm with you, Mitch. I don't think that we're going to go to cutting that fast. I think at minimum, they pause and wait for a little bit. But we'll know next week, won't we? It'll be a big week next week.
That it will be. And then, of course, you'll get the comments, right? Financial instability. I'm sure they'll talk about it. But will they be as concerned as everybody else is? That's one thing I have a question on. I don't think they're as concerned as everybody else is. I feel like we overplayed this. But, hey, I know that some people went through a real financial crisis. I don't really consider this a financial crisis. Do you consider this a financial crisis, Ryan?
Not yet, but this has them. I mean, enough more of these banks fail. Yeah, we will be in one. I mean,
that's my thing. I think that like people start seeing like if it's history repeating itself, but it's a completely new event.
Well, right, but the other thing is we have inflation at 40-year highs right now, Mitch. Things are more expensive. Like there's a lot of bad going on. Like that's the problem, and not everyone is talking about that. All right, I'm sorry to say that, but not everyone is talking about how bad things can be right now. There's a lot of apple polishing going on.
I agree. It's back and forth, man. And then look at JPM now. Now looks like it wants to go down, right? Well, you guys see, I've been fighting myself on that short. We'll see what happens. This FAZ take off now through 2250s. So that's one thing that I looked at. And I feel like all these regional banks, they look like traps right now, at least in my eyes, because they look like bullish action. Like this ally chart looks bullish, but it could very much just break through 2450s, right? FRC, looks like it's trying to get through 50, right? I know the Zunaid was even looking for that level. It is trying to get back there, but is this just kind of a trick to the upside? And all of a sudden it comes back to 40. I think these are all things and fair questions to ask, especially when we're getting so many mixed signals right now from the market. I feel like that's what's really happening. There's a lot of mixed signals. At least if we listen to the SPY is telling us all signs are clear. And then we can look at the TLT. What do the bonds say? The bonds are actually turning around today as they were just ripping higher. So is this just a pullback opportunity? Or are the bonds telling us now that, yeah, it was something to be concerned about? That's where it gets difficult. I feel like every single day right now, we're getting a little bit of a change of narrative. And as a trader out there, what do we got to do? Got to make our own decisions, right? That's the hard part of it all. Silver Fox today trading saying a lot of head fakes. That's just the way I feel too. A lot of head fakes either side.
And Jay Rice with some more good commentary here. Not going to cut. Market still showing an 80% probability of a 25 bips move next week. The move in regionals today signals that the panic is over. And this part, I agree with you. I think that based on, I mean, unless there's a gigantic collapse here in the afternoon, which I do not anticipate, I think that this is spot on, Jay. I think that the bounce back here is signal to the Fed that, yeah, we're not done yet with hiking rates. Our battle against inflation is not done. We're going to maybe slow it down. We'll stick with a 25 bips raise. Maybe we'll pause after that. But I'm in agreement with you. I don't think that they're going to pivot. I think that's silly. I think there's more work to be done here, and the regional banks are your tell for that.
And if you feel that way, I
take care.
That's why I point towards kind of like the FAS trade, right? This move through 60, it just did it. Nice little pullback. Now you're starting to get back above VWAP. I would look for VWAP to hold if we could close on a 5-minute above it. And then look to see if you go back to the opening price. Opening price, 61.80, right? That's still good risk to reward here on FAS. We'll see if this starts to move to the upside. JPM, does this start to push through 133.45s? All things you can kind of look at. And one thing to note, this SPY just keeping that trend, right? That's why I drew the trend line. Just seems like the SPY doesn't want to break. That's for sure. All right, got stopped out there in the Oxy trade there. Lost about, what was it, about 2%? Yeah, about 2% there in Oxy on this up move there. Got hit out there. Going to get out of that one. Still got a little bit of Chevron, but that could get me out any moment. And Valero eventually could get me out through the 133.78 spot. So we'll see what happens there. Definitely not looking good. Morgan Stanley could push here towards 92. If that happens, I'll take my money and run on Morgan Stanley. Was looking to see if we get continuation.
Alrod shouting AMBI. This is Ambipar Emergency. I'm not even familiar with what this is. Oh, I let me reshare my screen. Sorry, Mitch.
AMBI.
Yeah, have you ever heard of this stock?
Nope. Waste management stock. Ripping. Looks like it's brand new. Brand new stock. So looks like it's one of those new IPOs runners.
Yeah, big move here today. Looks like multiple halts. I didn't really have any setup here in order to play this. Definitely moving. See if this is Ambipar. Yeah, the description here is not even. Human and
Yeah.
animal disease treatment. Never short Buffett. Good advice right there.
I don't think so.
What?
You could short him. Make your money in between. Remember, he's a long-term investor.
Yeah.
I don't think that line really makes sense.
I don't go against. I normally don't go against him.
I've gone against him and made money plenty of times. So
there you
I
go.
mean, to each his own, right?
To each his own. That's what makes the market. That's what I say all the time.
I mean, never short Buffett in the long run. I'd answer that one. I'd answer that one. That's for sure. Long run, yeah. But he gets timing wrong a lot. But he gets a lift just because of his name. Is that fair? I mean, you guys can talk about that, but
Yeah, he does.
he gets a lift. Like literally, he just mentioned a thing and he makes billions of dollars. Dun dun dun. SPY is just hanging on and just slow. Just playing games. JPM just playing games. Will this trend finally break? We're getting closer and closer to breaking it. Looking to see if we're going to break it. If we could break that, then maybe I can go short finally on JPM. But if the trend is still to the upside on the SPY, I'm pushing it. In between type of day, that's for sure. All right, in just a few minutes, we'll be getting towards an interview coming up, team. So stick around, team. We'll find out what is going to happen in the rest of the day of the market. It's going to be a tough one, that's for sure. There's very rare times where I feel out of tune with the market, and maybe that's because I had to deal with some family situations yesterday, but I definitely feel out of tune with the market right now. So I'm just going to keep watch, see what happens. SPY rolling over, you feel? Quantum, yeah, I mean, it's just sticking around, right? I mean, I don't think it's rolled over. Rolled over for me would be cutting through 392s on the downside. That would cut through that line right there, but we'll find out, right? What else is going on? Buffett said that he only made a killing 15 times in the last 50 years, other break even or losses. Yeah, he puts a lot of heavy bets on. People don't realize that he puts a lot of eggs in one basket. Some might say that's very similar to how Kathy trades. Just putting it out there.
Everything seems to be slowing down here, Mitch. SPY slowing down here. Even some of those tech moves that move towards the highs, those are slowing down here.
Yeah, I'm seeing the industrials move back a little bit.
Banks are holding in all right.
I was even looking. Yeah, banks are just like kind of just sitting there, at least in my eyes, for JPM. But I haven't taken a look at Bank of America in a little bit. If I was looking at this cat trade, maybe reversing to the upside if we are going to get continued upside. But I mean, it just seems very difficult today. I feel like there's no edge that I'm feeling. So I'm just sticking with just staying on the sidelines, right? Bank of America kind of just trying to start coming back there. That looks a little bit more like a reversal off of 29s. You got all that sideways action. You get the cut down here. They call it the undercut and rally. A lot of the times you'll see lower volume on the cut. And then all of a sudden, as it starts coming back, the volume starts to increase. We'll look to see if it gets to 29.50s on the upside action. And look at the SPY. Not turning around, just kind of going sideways there. That's why I'm looking to see if we actually get a cut through on the 392s. If not, it could just keep riding up all day. Do you know what they call this? Riding the wall of the worry. That's
what you call it.
Look at it. Look at that. That's pretty much saying the worry's gone, man. We're what? Almost an hour into the market. What? Over an hour into the market, and we haven't really seen that downside action.
No, we haven't. It's been a slow grind up, melt up.
This Fed, when they gave the comment, and I feel like this is the comment. I mean, some people didn't think that this is as important. I think it's the most important comment. Regulators said that they would backstop all depositors in the now failed SVB bank, of course, right? To me, that's what turned this around, is the word all. So even if you had $150 million,
they're going to backstop it.
It doesn't matter. We got you. We'll figure it out. We'll do loans. We'll use whatever tool the Fed needs to use, whatever tool we need to grab from the FDIC. If the president needs to make something up, he'll make it up. Whatever needs to happen, they're going to put the backstop up. And when you have a backstop, what usually happens? V bottoms. What happened in the pandemic? They said the same thing. They would backstop at all costs the market. What happened to the market in the pandemic? V bottom. Right? We came down, worry, up. No need to worry no more. So I feel like they completely stopped the worrying with that mentioned. And backstopping all depositors completely took away the bank run. At least I feel like. There's no need to bank run if they're going to back up, even if you got millions in the bank, right? Yeah, I agree, Carmen. That's a whole nother other conversation. But yeah, they didn't allow failure to be an option. I agree. They didn't allow it to be an option. They just came in, put the Band-Aid on the market. And to tell you the truth, you're going to have some people start calling maybe all-time highs, I feel like. Especially if you're getting people saying that we're going to get rate cuts off of this. So it's a hard market, team. And that just shows you how quickly things can turn, right?
All right, Mitch, I'm going to get rolling here. Good stuff for day 2. We'll be back at this again tomorrow. I'm going to keep watching what we've already talked about, right? I'm going to keep watching the banks. I'm going to keep watching the broader market. And then, of course, tech, see where it ends up going. EUDA knifed and is really kind of holding around 3. We'll see if that gears up again, but it really needs volume to do so. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you, my friend. Have a good one. All right, team. I did get a stop out there in Chevron. So stopped out today in Citi, stopped out in Win, stopped out in Chevron and Oxy. No bueno. No bueno, team. If they're going to backstop, what about Silvergate? Will it still fail? Will it still fall? Honestly, Tom, the way that things are looking, Silvergate doesn't look like a bad swing. I don't know, Tom. I might not be right, might not be wrong, but you know. Hit the like, team. Hit the like. I might throw in my mouse, team. The darkness will come and get you. No, but honestly, I don't see why not. Why does Silvergate get to fail, but then the other ones don't? I mean, who knows? Maybe Silvergate comes back. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like that's very speculative, but look at all the volume that's coming in it today. Look at all the volume that's come in it in the last couple of days. Some people are taking some shots. I'm not going to be one of those, but hey, who knows? Yo, Mitch made a Smith & Wesson a great swing. Yeah, Smith & Wesson, man. What's the ticker's name on that? I always forget it. SWBI. Looks interesting. Nice little reversal there off the 1050. Nice support to go off of. Right around that 1050 cut through. Now you're back through the 11s. This doesn't look too bad. Next stop, 1123s. From there, 27s. And then you get to the really important level, I think, which is the 35s. Clearing the 35s today, 1135s, you're looking a lot better on that Smith & Wesson for that upside continuation. And look at the SPY continue to climb the wall of worry out there as it's just shaking off the bank situation. Jay said the SI ain't coming back. Who knows? Mitch being emotional, out of the zone. Oh, I feel it, Sydney. But I'm not trading right now, so it doesn't really matter. It's okay to be a little emotional today. Wisdom said, do you help me feel comfortable? Thanks. Yeah, I like to talk about both sides of the coin, right? I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. Can you talk us through the JPM trade that you would have taken today? By all means, John. I got no problem with that. Let's take a look. So the trade that I would have made is off of this VWAP. So a lot of times, and when I first was taking this look, I'm going to slide it through when I was first taking the look, which was this action here. So a lot of times when I'm looking for stocks, I like stocks that make quick down moves, come back to the VWAP, hang out there for a second, and then just start to fade off. And what I normally do is I look to take majority of the profits towards like a whole dollar or the low of the day on this day. Right now, at that point, it was 131.61. But I like the 132 exit, just like a quick little trade to 132 and then taking majority of it out. This went to 132.08 on the first reaction there from a short around 133.21s or 14s for the VWAP. You have to risk about like 30 or 40 cents, but you're getting there from 133s to 132s. It's about $1.30, right? And then if you slide to the right, you see more action in the similar space, right? Right off the VWAP. So then we get this VWAP rejection again here. So I could look for that similar move back to 132. But as you can see, it's just been hanging out here on the VWAP. And when stocks hang out on the VWAP a lot, we got to be careful because this can very much turn into what? Bottoming look on the 15-minute candles, right? And so you can see here on the 15-minute candles, you keep getting what? A trend here, higher lows, higher lows. So we need to kind of look here. This is a declining triangle right now. Are we going to break above the 134s, get out of the intraday declining triangle, and get back towards a longer-term reversal style look, which is this daily look or the hourly look? Or are we going to reject down through that 132.74 and cut through 132s going to that 131.60? So you're using the VWAP, using multiple levels right above it. You can also use hourly charts to try to help you where the risk out should be. So the risk out for me in this case, I would do this hourly levels and I'd look at, okay, so above this resistance is really where we can kind of hold, turn this into a bullish trend, right? That's 133.79. You can see here, that's slightly above all the price action. Now that we're coming back through the 70s, I could still go short here and hold off of kind of where the closing action is here. So let's say off the 133.30s. I could risk off of that, get short here, risk about what, 60 cents there? But that's a move down towards 131.60s, which is about $1. So you got to always understand your risk to reward there. But it's not a bad looking trade. And another one could have been just maybe like an FAZ, right? So like you see these pullbacks, you see the pullbacks in the same area around the first support level that you got. So sometimes I'll take trades off of that support level and just trying to hold to the next level. So like going green off of close to 22s, using the next level down, which is around the 2180s, and then trying to get the move back through 2250s. We'll see what happens here on the Financial Bear 3-time leverage. And it's all good, Sydney. No worries. I don't think it's stressful. You know, one of my things is always I like when you guys call me out on some stuff, and it's okay to call me out on some stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, when you guys are hearing me be emotional, call me out on it. Just like I talk about the talking heads, I'm one of those talking heads, right? So I try to do my best to try to bring calmness, right? I'm not trying to create FUD out there. I'm trying to focus, deal with the markets, right? And one thing that I like to do is be fully transparent with you guys. There's some days where I feel like I feel it. There's some days I feel like I'm not on top of my game. And instead of acting like I am on top of my game and then you guys learning the wrong ways, I let you guys know today I'm a little off. And that happens. As a trader, you're not always going to be at 100% of your top of your game, right? Just like any athlete can't always stay at the top of their game. You want to know when you're at your top. You also want to know when you're in a rut. All right, here's the SPY making that move there. So I could make this trade here on that day PM. It already cracked there for that one, right? So you guys see this start to come down. I could do the FAZ off of the VWAP here, right? Like 22.25s. Take that for 22.50s, maybe risking off the bottom right now. Maybe move this up here, pull this towards around 22. But we're about to get to an interview, so I'm not going to take this trade right now. But I'm just trying to show you guys some setups and how we can go about it. And always here for you guys. No stress. Like, that's one thing that I always want to do that for you guys. I'm here to kind of learn through the wins and the losses. Some days I'm gonna not just feel it, right? Today's not one of those days for me. So instead of me like trying to trade against my mentality, and I have this mentality, oh no, we're gonna crash again. Well, that can very much get me to a point where I feel the confirmation bias. I'm not going to go and trade with that confirmation bias. And I think sometimes understanding our mistakes and catching them as we're doing it in our mind, and then just saying, no, I'm not going to trade, takes more discipline than me going after these trades, losing really quickly. And then what? Losing more of my mental capital. We got to stay on top of our mental capital. Understand when we need to go walk the dog. Understand when we need to take a moment to relax. When we need to go watch The Price is Right, right? I mean, you guys out there, find what works for you, right? Get yourself back in. Redirection, they call it a lot, right? I need to redirect right now and get back into my focus. It's very important as a trader to catch these moments, because really, what are we trying to do? We're trying to trade when we're on top. Not when we start to fail our mentality. Now the SPY starting to break that trend line here, right? Talked about how that trend line, when would we break this? Would we see downside continuation come in some of the banks? So just be careful. That's what I'm looking for now. We'll see if JPM can actually really cut through the lows. Look at that. You see how that pattern played out, team? It did play out to the downside, and now it's coming right down towards that 132. We'll see if we actually cut through that. I don't think you really get bearish on the banks until you really kind of start cutting through here, which is kind of that 131.61 low, intraday low. Do we come to 131s and start to cut down? That's where we're going to start seeing some of these trades turn around a little bit. We'll find out if the SPY can hold like kind of VWAP now. You're still not looking too bad either. Well, this 392s. We'll find out. All right, it's 11:01. We'll see what's going on. It took me a year to learn redirect. Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of traders out there need to kind of figure it out. How can we do that? How can we redirect ourselves and get ourselves right back on track? All right, we're going to keep going. We're going to get you guys over to an interview in just a few minutes. We'll just keep going right now. Take a look into the market. And of course, we can take a look at some stocks that you guys want to take a look at. So throw them up out there. Breaking the habit loop. It's tough. To feel the moment, you want to do what you always do is the first thing. Break your habits, right? Yep. It's a common thing. And traders, we always want to be catching ourselves, right? What I talk about it, and there's a book that I learned this from. It's called The Observer. And so sometimes we need to observe our thoughts and catch ourselves before we go into action. It's tough. Fight the demons every day. And I know how it is out there. All right. How we doing, Zunaid?
Good, good. We'll have that interview here in a few moments.
No worries.
Just kind of, let me just throw up my, there you go. I think my chart's already good. Yeah, just taking a look at the SPY, right? So we did hit that 393 level. So I bought ahead. I'm going to retest it here at the 392.16s. I went in and purchased another 50 shares. I'll sell 50 of them off at 392.82s, and the rest I'll wait to see if we get a 394 test later in the day. Amazon went up nicely. We're up about $70, came back, tested, still holding on to that one. And then FRC, as it did get closer to that $50 level, I did go ahead and sell that contract off for about $130 gain. So that one is off the table. If now this gets above 50, it could be wild. So keep an eye on FRC. But for now, we're out of that trade. Focused in on the SPY, focused in on Amazon, as those are the two trades that we have at the moment.
Meta looks interesting here off of the 190 spot, right? I mean, you can see the pullback to the VWAP. You can see it kind of setting up. It's going to be, I think, more reliant on what happens with the overall market. If you just go back to 393s, I think Meta looks like an interesting setup here. I'll show you guys that chart really quick. You guys can see that Meta chart, nice sideways action, 15-minute pullback to VWAP. I like the level because you also got this level to the left, 188.84, where you could be risking off of. So that's slightly below here. And so I like how you got multiple levels of support right underneath you to kind of go off of. And starting to get that reversal action there in Meta. We'll look to see if we get that move back through 191.05 first, and then back to its intraday highs towards 192s. Doesn't look too bad there on Meta. Snap looked good too. We talked about that one, right? That one didn't look too bad overall. I was going to take a look at this because it has done a nice pullback during this time where the bank scare was going on. You got a reversal style looking candle on the daily. You're holding around 1050s right now. That's where I feel like I want to see it hold for the day. Now that you recovered the 1050, I wouldn't want to see it break there. But if it gets back to 11s, you're looking decent there in Snap for the upside action. Meta's laying off over 10,000 people. It seems like that's bullish, man. Seems like that's bullish. I think at some point that's going to catch up with certain companies. But right now, layoffs have been the best thing you can do. Sounds bad, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Right now, the companies that are doing layoffs, at least stock-wise, stock price appreciation, they're getting the stock appreciation, right? Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, hey, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, we'll see how Meta reacts in terms of the long term, but for now, it's definitely popping. Nice move above 190 once again. Couldn't quite hold it the first time it got there. We'll see if it can get there for a second time. You can see how it's just kind of been struggling back and forth, chopped around that area as it goes ahead and tries one more time. Taking a look at Amazon, that one's coming right back down. Let's see if it kind of holds and bounces right back. You've got the SPY that's looking to bounce back to the 393s as well. About maybe, what is that, about 30 cents away or so on the SPY trade to work out in our favor. And there's Amazon. Come on, keep on going. Let's see. Tesla having a tough time getting back above 180. We said that if you went long, we said 179 crack, you should go ahead and get out. It hasn't yet. Not sure how to get in this one just yet either, though.
SPY coming back there. It could have been just a fake out to the downside, right? This is how this market loves to kind of fake and fake, head fake, head fake, head fake. So one setup that still looks interesting for me, and that's if you're thinking for the smaller banks to make an up move, the Ally. It still looks interesting. Because if it clears 25 on a big up move on the SPY, I think you're looking good. We'll see what happens on that day PM. It did get towards 132.23s. Will it take the next leg? Bank of America is working its way back. It's back down towards the low there. Citi, one that I got stopped out earlier today, was able to take some profit yesterday. So it's pretty much like a break-even trade, and that's a little frustrating because, you know, I was up decently yesterday, but look for the swing on Citi. It's back there to 47.60s. Does it start coming back down today? Something to keep on watch. Morgan Stanley just right above the VWAP. So I'll look to see if that cuts below the VWAP or 92s takes us out of the rest. SPY trying to come right back through the trend line towards 393.
Let's see what else we've got moving here. I'm gonna, in about a couple of minutes, I'll reach out once more. I've already done it once, but let's see. You've got Tesla trying to break back above 40 cents away on the SPY trade to go and take our profits the first time around. All right, looks like our SPY profits are good. So let me go ahead. We got 50 shares remaining. I'm going to look to sell those around 393.77, and I am going to move my break even though, however, right below here. So I'm risking now about 16 cents to make about $80 if that trade does come to fruition. And on the other side, excusez-moi, you've got 150 shares of Amazon at 94.13 with the stop loss around 93.84.
Almost out of my Valero also. Looking at that one, it's really close. 133.76 will get me out. We're at 133.30s. That's a little frustrating. We were up about 4% at the open there. But this market is just holding everything up now. Complete flip of what I saw yesterday. It's difficult. I'm still giving oil a chance, but
what's oil?
some of those
Is that
other bets.
CL?
Well, yeah, it depends. Yeah, if you have futures, yeah, CL.
Let's see what the futures are looking like on the crude oil side of things.
Starting to turn around at least, but had to pop at the open, right? So I think that's what you see.
Yeah, it looks like if you're trying to go long, you got to wait for this break of 74.25. And if you're trying to go short. So honestly, yeah, you're kind of within this range here. Since the day started.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I was looking for crude overall to break 72, and it just looked really perfect, especially the market coming down. Everything was looking negative, but now it's like, okay, well, boom, flip of the tape. It's hard. It's hard. I'll tell you that much. At least the outlook won't look too bad if we end somehow with some of these energy names in the red today, but they're deep into the green, so I highly doubt that's going to end the day like that. And if not, I'll just get out in the Valero and I'll have the time to trade again. That's what's important. I mean, it's always about timing, right? We'll see when it actually breaks down. Overall, XLE starting to come back right now, of course. This still looked ugly like literally 2 days ago, and it broke towards the low on the long-term trend and then was able to find some bounce there. Wasn't expecting to see that, but hey, that's just how it goes sometimes.
If there's any other tickers y'all want to take a look at, someone said Microsoft forming a nice little flag. Let's see if that one breaks out above. So you're holding the 258 level. That's what you kind of wanted to see. We're holding that. Honestly, if you wanted to go long, I'm not going to because I've got some other things here. But if you wanted to go long, you could. The closer to 258, the better. Stop loss would be below about the 257.50 area for me. But that one does look decent. It is up about more than 1.5%, but the SPY is up even more than that. So it's not relatively strong, if you will. It's going with the trend. It's going with the market, but nothing too crazy to write home about. All right, I'm gonna call. I'll be right back.
All right, no stress. I got you, bro. Put my charts up here. See what the deal is. See what we get in the markets. I'm just money on the sidelines today type of day. And I've been putting some more money to work, team, but today's not that day. At least was able to limit the damage on a lot of the trades today. Small losses. So they add up to like one full-size loss, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. I spy with my little eyes. Will you get through 393s trying to recover the trend line? You can see it's right back there. Cut it for a second. Now trying to recover it. And no move to here. No move to VWAP today. What does that show me? People are getting squeezed out of positions. That's what that shows me. Of course, I don't know 100%. But I can tell you guys, that seems to me like some squeezing out.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to go ahead and reschedule the interview. So the company that we were going to go ahead and interview, they're actually at the NASDAQ. So we're having a little bit of issues on that side of things. It was security matters. They rang the bell earlier this morning. So we wanted to get you guys the excitement and have those conversations. But it's kind of tough when you're trying to do the interview right from the markets at NASDAQ as well. So apologies for that. We will go ahead and do our best to reschedule that so we can have those questions answered and have that interview. But just a heads up for the folks that might have been waiting around for that.
All right, so then that's going to do it for us here, team. We'll go ahead and wrap up live trading. Like always, you guys can catch us tomorrow. Don't go anywhere, team. We always got a lot more for you guys on Benzinga. Benzinga Live coming up next. That's going to be starting up at 11:30, team. So stick around for that. He'll be talking about bank stocks are ripping. What's going on with Tesla? Find out from AB next on Benzinga Live. We'll see you tomorrow, Zunaid. Have a good one.
See ya.
Smash it up, team.